Should you watch your anime subbed or dubbed? Every weeb has been faced with this question, and if you haven't yet, trust me, you will. That's because everyone has an opinion on what is the correct way to watch anime. This singular question has split the community for some time now, and today you're getting an honest answer on what's the best viewing experience from someone who's seen literally tons of anime on both sides of the aisle. This is Otaku 101, and class is in session. Subbed or subtitled anime basically means you watch it in the original Japanese form, and subtitles are added for non-speakers to understand what's happening. Subbed anime generally maintains the cultural integrity of the manga because studios usually take great care into keeping as much as possible when translating a manga into an anime. This means animating the characters and settings accurately, finding the right voice actors to portray those characters, and making sure the plot flows similarly to the manga, all while keeping the essence of the story intact. Many sub supporters argue that anime is best watched this way. I definitely understand and agree with the sentiment, because with each dubbing, even the most faithful adaptations diverge, with translations being the biggest reason. Now, translating into another language is not 100% accurate and loses some of that original intent, and remember that dubbing can include other changes to the story. There are disadvantages, however, and none is bigger than the constant requirement of watching the screen, because I'm not yet at the level of Nihongo Jozu, so if I miss something important, then I'll have to rewind to catch up. Watching subbed anime for slow readers and multitaskers can be a nightmare because the narration can go really fast and be hard to keep up, like in the Tatami Galaxy. Then there's affiliating yourself with those subbed-only elitists who constantly annoy you with why subbed is the only way you can watch anime. While there may be some truth to their statements, the way you make these arguments are not cute. Dubbed anime is formatted in a way where changes were made to make it more palatable. This usually means adding voiceover in the preferred language of the watcher, as I mentioned earlier. It can also mean, and to a lesser extent nowadays, altering animation to suit the targeted demographics, like in the American adaptation of Yu-Gi-Oh!, where they switched the bad guys from holding guns to pointed fingers. Or in the 4Kids dub of One Piece, Sanji, who is a smoker in the manga, was changed from carrying a cigarette to carrying a lollipop. Dubbing can go as far as banning episodes, and Pokemon is notorious for this, as there are some pretty outrageous moments throughout the original series. The best argument, which I cannot stress enough, is the convenience factor, because being able to watch anime for multitaskers or slow readers just won't work if the anime is subbed. Dubbed anime is just more accessible for people who may be new to it or unfamiliar with Japanese culture. Also, in my opinion, there are just some dubbed anime where the voice acting fits so much better than the original version, like Cowboy Bebop and Baccano, and I'll stand by this forever and ever. There are serious disadvantages to dubbed anime, as I've mentioned earlier. Dubbing does lose some of that authenticity, but there are some dubbed voice acting that's so bad and doesn't match the characters at all. One of the biggest problems is the release schedule, because it's costly and time consuming to dub an anime, which means you may have to wait a while longer in order to watch it. Usually popular titles have a quicker turnaround because they know a large enough audience will watch, and that studio has the resources to get it dubbed, but others are not so lucky. Some have to wait weeks or months for a dubbed version, and some anime don't even get one at all. So now that you know the difference between subbed and dubbed anime, I'm sure you figured out which way to watch anime is best. If you said, whatever the heck you want, then good job. You shouldn't feel ashamed either way, or even if you prefer both. I used to watch every anime sub because I thought it was the right and only way, but over time I realized how ridiculous that was. As a multitasker and a slow reader myself, constantly staring at the screen for every single anime just wasn't working. While I still prefer to watch most anime subbed to stay current or to appreciate the original version, I watch much more dubbed anime nowadays. There are even some I've watched in both forms. My methods may not work for you, and that's okay, because you should find out what you like and don't worry about what anyone else says. Do you have a preference when it comes to watching anime? Or maybe you got something else to say? Either way, I'd love to hear it and talk about it with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can send me an email, or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook. No, one more thing. If you like what you're watching, feel free to subscribe by clicking that platypus to keep up with my latest videos. Class is dismissed, and stay nerdious.